Welcome dear learners to this comprehensive lecture on consumer behavior. Today we will navigate the complex landscape of the human mind as it relates to the marketplace. We will explore why consumers act the way do they, the framework marketers use to analyze these actions and the deep-seated motivations that drive purchasing decisions. This session is designed to provide you with a robust understanding of psychological and sociological blueprint of marketing. Before we understand the core concepts, let us outline our learning objective for this session. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to first articulate the fundamentals of consumer behavior and its significance in marketing strategy. Second, you will be able to apply the 7 O's framework to dissect the market systematically. Third, critically differentiate between product buying motives and patronage buying motives by understanding the distinction between emotional and rational drivers. And finally, you will be able to evaluate the various psychological, cultural, and social factors that exert influence over consumer choice. Let's begin with an introduction to the discipline. It is absolutely necessary for a marketer to understand the actions involved in the buying process of the consumer. So, why it is so critical? Because the human brain by nature is complex in origin. It serves as the core command center from which all human activities are directed. You might ask yourself, are consumer purchase random acts? The answer is big no. Any purchase made is not like random. It is organized with a number of influencing factors in the purchaser's mind. Therefore, it becomes very essential for marketers to grasp the nature of human psychology. We must understand how a consumer spends their limited resources, specifically the time, effort, and money in acquiring any product for their personal use. This understanding bridges the gap between a product setting on self and product satisfying a need. To ground our discussion in academic theory, let us look at some standard definitions. According to prominent scholar Skiffen and Connick, the term consumer behavior refers to the behavior that consumers display in searching for, purchasing, using, evaluating, and disposing of products and services that they expect will satisfy their need. Note the specific verbs used here: searching, purchasing, using, evaluating, and disposing. It is not just about the transaction. Consumer behavior is a field of study that investigates how consumers behave, select, purchase, and repurchase certain goods. It seeks to uncover the factors responsible for satisfaction. In essence, it refers to the behavior of consumer in the marketplace and, more importantly, the reasons behind those behavior. Now, why do companies invest so heavily in this research? Companies try to find the cause behind certain behavior to understand why people purchase some specific goods and services. By doing this, they become capable of determining which product and service are actually needed by consumer and which are becoming outdated. This insight allows companies to refine how well they offer product to the market. It transforms marketing from guessing game into a strategic science. If a company knows the why, they can effectively supply the what. To systematically analyze these behavior, we use a diagnostic tool known as the 7 O's framework of consumer behavior. This framework asks 7 critical questions that helps profile the market. Let's go through that. Here the first one is occupants. Who is the consumer? This defines the target demographic. Next one is object. What does he or she buy? This refers to the product type. Next is objective. Why is the consumer buying? This touches on the need or motivation of purchasing the product. Next one is occasion. When do they buy? It is a seasonal, daily, or some in special events. Next one is outlet. Where do they buy? They can buy from online shops, retailers, or wholesalers. Next one is operations. How do they buy? What is the process or mechanism? Next one is organization. Who is involved in this whole process? This identifies who performs what buying role, such as influencer or the final decider. Using this framework ensures a holistic view on the consumer landscape. Now, let us move to core concept, buying motive. A buying motive is the urge or motive to satisfy a desire or need that make people buy goods or services. Behind every single purchase, there is a buying motive. It basically refers to the thoughts, feelings, emotion, and instincts that arouse a desire in buying to purchase a article. It is crucial to understand that a buyer does not buy simply because they have been persuaded by a salesman, but they actually buy because of an aroused desire within themselves. We must distinguish motive from instinct. A motive is a reason for carrying out a particular behavior, whereas an instinct is a pre-programmed in like voluntary response. For example, hunger is an instinct, but the desire to purchase a pizza to satisfy the hunger is a buying motive. As Professor DJ state, buying motives are influences that provides the impulse to buy. We classify these two major categories into product buying motives and patronage buying motives. Let us first explore product buying motives. These refers to the influence that promote a buyers to choose a particular product over other. These can be physical attraction like design or size, or physical attractions like status. We subdivide these into emotional and rational motives. When a buyer decides to purchase without thinking logically or carefully, they are influenced by emotional product buying motives. Let's look at the first few key emotional drive. The first one is pride or prestige. This is often the strongest motive. Buyers feel that possessing a product increase their social status. For example, diamond merchant appeal to this by suggesting that diamond elevate the owner's prestige. Second is emulation or imitation. This is the desire to copy other. A generic example would be a housewife desiring a silk sari simply because her neighbor possesses them. Third is affection. Love is a powerful driver. A husband buying a costly gift for his wife or a father buying a watch for his son is acting out of affection, not necessarily it's a logic buying. Next one is comfort. The desire for comfortable life drives the sale of fan, refrigerator and washing machines. Let's continue with emotional motive. We have sex appeal, like buyers use product to be attractive to the opposite sex, which drives the like cosmetics and fashion industries. Next is ambition. This is the desire to achieve a defined goal. For example, someone pursuing education through correspondence courses because they lack the facility for regular college is driven by the ambition to succeed. We also have the desire for distinctiveness. Conversely, to imitation, some buyers want to be unique. They buy things not possessed by other to stand out. We also have the desire for distinctness. Conversely, to imitation, some buyer want to be unique. They buy things not posed by others to stand out. Next one is hunger and trust, are primary emotional motives leading to the purchase of foodstuffs and drinks. Finally, we have habit. Many customers buy a product simply because they are used to it. The consumption of cigarette or liquor is often driven by sheer habits rather than a new decision making process. Now, what happens when a buyer thinks consciously and logically? We call them rational product buying motives. Here, the head rule the heart, like safety or security, is a major rational driver. People buy iron safe to protect cash or vitamins to protect health. Economy refers to saving operating cost. A consumer choosing a Hero Honda bike because it saves on petrol cost is acting on economy. Next is rationally low price is a straightforward. Buyers compare competing products and choose the cheaper one. Next one is suitability, which means the product fit the specific need. A buyer with a small room logically choose a small dining table to fit in within that space. Then comes utility or versatility, refers to product that has varied uses. A product that can do multiple things is often preferred. Now, durability is a prioritized lifespan. A buyer might choose a teak wood table even if it is more costlier because it lasts longer than ordinary wood. So, let's briefly recap this section. Product buying motives determine what we buy. Emotional motives are impulsive and based on feelings like pride, affection, or habit. On the other hand, rational motives are calculated and based on factors like durability, economy, suitability. A successful product often appeals to a mix of both. For example, a car that is both safe and prestigious. Now, we have discussed what people buy. Now, let's discuss where they buy. These are called patronage buying motives. These are the reason a buyer patronizes a specific shop over another. Just like product motives, these are split into emotional and rational categories. Emotional patronage motives occur when a buyer chooses a shop without deep reasoning. This includes the appearance of the shop. People like attractive environments. Display of goods play a crucial role and artistic display attracts customer. Next one is recommendation of others is also very powerful. We trust friends and relatives when they suggest a shop. Next is imitation, which occurs when we shop somewhere just because others do. Next is prestige. Prestige is also a factor here. For example, some consider it prestigious to drink coffee specifically at a five-star hotel, and again habit shopping at the same place simply because it's always like this. On the other hand, rational patronage motives involves careful consideration of where to shop. Convenience is key. Proximity and convenient working hours like shop open on Sundays attract rational buyers. Next is low price change by the shop is a measure drawn. If a specific store is known for being cheaper, people will flock there. Credit facilities also influence those who may not have immediate cash but need to make purchase. Next is services offered such as home delivery or repair services add value that rational buyer appreciate. One more thing is efficiency of salesperson matters. Now we have wide choice also allow buyers to compare options under one roof. Then treatment refers to the courtesy people prefer shops where they are treated with respect. Then comes reputation for honest dealing and shows the buyer feel more safe and free from fraud. To summarize patronage motives, these explain why a consumer walk into store A instead of store B. This is emotional drivers, which includes the look of the store or social prestige, while rational drivers focuses on price, convenience, and service efficiency. So, understanding this helps retail design their store experience to capture both type of shoppers. We now move to the broader context. What are the high level factors affecting consumer behavior? We categorize these into psychological, socio-culture, social, personal, and marketing mix factor. Let's start with the psychological factors. First is personality. This is the set of traits and behaviors that characterize an individual. It has internal elements like thought and value and external elements like exhibit behavior. Personality is relatively stable over time. Second one is self concept. This is the totality of an individual's thoughts and feelings regarding themselves as an object. How a consumer views themselves dictates what they buy to reinforce that view. Third is motivation. As we touched on earlier, this is the set of forces causing people to behave in a certain way. It is the drive that arose enthusiastic to pursue a particular course of action. Continuing with psychological factor, fourth is learning. This is a permanent modification in behavior resulting from practice and experience. If a consumer tries to product and like it, they learn or they buy it again about them. Fifth is attitude. This is a persistent tendency to feel and behave in a favorable or unfavorable way towards an object. This is predisposition to respond positively or negatively. Sixth is belief. A belief is a hypothesis concerning the nature of objects. It is the cognitive component of attitude, essentially what a consumer judges to be true about a product. Seventh are values. These are the convictions and philosophical framework of an individual determining what they judge as good or bad and ethically or unethically. Moving beyond the individual mind, we look at socio-cultural factor. Now culture. Culture is the fundamental set of values, wants and behaviors learned by a member of society from family and institutions. It is the lens through which we view the world. Next is subculture, which refers to a small group within a culture such as nationalities, religions, racial group and geographical regions. These groups often have distinct buying patterns. Next is social class, refers to society's relatively permanent and ordered divisions. Members of a social class share similar value, interest and behaviors determined by their occupations, income and education. Next are social factors, which involves direct interaction with others. Here the first one is group, which refers to two or more individuals interacting to accomplish goal. A person's behavior is heavily influenced by reference groups such as friends, neighbors, and religious groups. Then we have family. Family is perhaps the strongest influence. Market are keenly interested in the role of the husband, wife, and children in purchasing decision. Who hold the wallet and who makes the choice. Then comes role and status defines a person's position in a group. Each role carries a status conformed by society and people, often buying products that reflect their role and status. We also have personal factors, which are specific to the individual current life situation. Here we have age and life cycle stage, which is very critical. People change their purchase over their lifetime. Marketers must develop appropriate plan for different stages from youth to old age. Next one is occupation, affects the goods and services brought. A blue collar worker requires different clothes and equipments than a corporate executive. Next is economic situation, which dictates product choice based on income, saving and interest rate. Marketers of income sensitive goods must closely monitor the trends. Finally, we must acknowledge the factors within the control of the company, the marketing mix. The first one is product. This is the tangible good or intangible services produced to meet the consumer's need. Next, we have price. The price means the amount to the customer pay. This must align with the consumer perception of the value. Next, we have promotion. This represents all communication used in the marketplace, which includes advertising, public relation, and personal selling. Then we have placement. This is how the product get to the consumer and how accessible it is. These four elements interact with the consumer's psychological and social background to influence the final decision. In conclusion, customer behavior, or we can say consumer behavior, is a multifaceted discipline. It requires us to look inward at consumer psychology, their motives, perceptions and attitudes, and also outwards at their social and cultural environment. From the 7 O's framework to the interactive classification of buying motives, we see that every purchase is the result of a complex equation. For the marketers, the goal is to solve this equation. By understanding whether a motive is emotional or rational, and by analyzing the cultural and personal factors at play, we can better predict or influence and satisfy consumers' needs by analyzing all these motives. This brings us to the end of our lecture on consumer behavior. Thank you for watching this session. In the next lecture, we will move to the topic consumer buying behavior and adoption process. See you in the next video.